Auburn versus Baylor. It's so close, Cam. And goodness gracious, we need to play this football game already.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into this crossover edition of Locked On Auburn and Locked On Baylor. I'm your host of Locked On Auburn, Zach Blackerby. Cam Stuart, host of Locked On Baylor. Cam's got some sappy stuff that he wants to say about the whole title thing. Baylor, I think there's some defensive concerns. We'll get Cam's thoughts on that. Matchups, I think, favor Auburn's direction. But go ahead, Cam. I know you've been chomping at the bit because you've already done a little bit. You've done it with Drake Tola, Locked On Big 12. Twisting Hugh Freeze's words ever so slightly to where it really changes the meaning a lot of what he's saying. So go ahead. Where are we starting today?
Well, I think it is worth noting that it was tough for us to schedule this because I'm taking my job very seriously. I am calling the first down plays in the second quarter for Auburn. Hugh Freeze has hired me on. I will be play caller number 4. He says he's got a couple of guys he's talking to add to it. I don't know how you could be confident in that. Now, let me, if I may, find some common ground here. The video of Hugh Freeze slamming down his visor, that doesn't do anything for me. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's weird that the reporter deleted the video. I think that's.
I actually didn't even know that. I didn't.
Yes,
know
it got deleted shortly thereafter.
Interesting. I missed that.
And the quote about the 3 quarterbacks is interesting, but I don't think there's a lot there. I think the question was more like, can all 3 play? And Hugh Freeze is like, yeah, as in like. Can Baylor win this game? Of course they can. So can Auburn. They're both playing each other. You know what I mean? But the 3 play callers, I'm not getting this. And there are so many Auburn fans that are so confident in this.
Well, you're already kind of missing some of it, for sure, because it's all been twisted or whatever. And I do think there's some of this that Auburn is doing semantically as well because of their situation with their offensive coordinator in his previous spot. So I think there's a few things going into this.
Is it supposed to be like a mind game? Like the semantics, or is that just, hey, he's got his quarterback?
What's the mind game? What do you mean?
Like, is there a mind game of like, yeah, we could play all 3? Like,
okay, we're talking about quarterbacks or play calling. Which one do you want to do first?
Sorry, quarterbacks. Like, is that supposed to mess with Baylor?
So the storyline that people are running with is like Hugh Freeze sat down in his weekly coaches show. We call it Tiger Talk. And he like sat down and said, hey, we could play 3 quarterbacks. Like, that's not what happened. He was asked the question, could you play 3 quarterbacks? Could we see all 3 quarterbacks against Baylor? And he said, yeah, sure. I think it'd be kind of interesting if he said no as well. It's like, oh, they don't think that he's going to run it up against Baylor. He doesn't think that's an option. I think regardless of what the answer to that question is, I think it would have gotten some sort of discussion. As far as the play calling thing, the way it was broken down, and I've asked around, and this seems fairly common. And once again, Cam, this is why coaches do the whole coach speak thing. Because when they actually answer a question, this is the stuff that happens, especially if you're Hugh Freeze, because he is a lightning rod of discussion and controversy and all of that.
Which Auburn fans used to want. Like someone who would just
I think down deep,
regular.
they still want it, right? I think down deep, it's like the drama of it, but goodness, we just need to play football. Yeah. But it's not unusual to have different people on your staff focus on different things. Now, is it always the quarterback coach is on first down and the offensive coordinator's on third down or whatever?
No, it's not.
It could be. I mean, it's not like you're married to a certain spot, but it's pretty common across coaching staffs. Like okay, you're shaking your head no. So what do you think all the offensive analysts do when it comes to a game plan? What do you think position coaches do during a game plan? If this is the craziest thing and the only person who can prep an offense is the offensive coordinator,
I didn't say
you're
that.
Grinning, you're laughing, you're shaking your head no.
Didn't say that.
But what you did, you kind of have. Cam,
I've heard 3 play callers. Who has 3 play callers?
But that's not a real thing. It all filters through Hugh Freeze, and that seems to be the part that has been left off on all of this. There's multiple people on a headset having a discussion. That's what staffs do, and you're acting like that's not a thing. So
I just want to know who's sending in the play.
Hold on. So, serious question here.
Okay.
What do you think the offensive coaching staff does outside of the offensive coordinator? Serious question, because you don't seem to think that they're a part of the game plan.
Well, of course they're part of a game plan.
Then what
They're
are we
about
doing here,
finding
Cam?
tendencies in
What
the
are we
defense.
doing here? You're trying
what
to be
might work.
all of
I'm
these folks outside of
calling
Auburn
the
are trying to
plays.
be cute and funny and take these digs. And it's like, do y'all not? What do you think they do? You think it's just the OC is the only guy part of the game plan? That's crazy.
Should be the only one calling the plays, Zach. You've got a quarterback with no confidence, and then you're like, who's even sending in the play to him?
So Baylor, top 10 offensive coordinator. We agree.
Correct.
Your words.
Nailed
Not
it.
pushing back, whatever. Yep. If Dave Aranda got on the headset, is like, I want to run this, what happens?
Well, that is a different discussion, but yes, what would happen is they would go with Dave Aranda's play.
I'm asking you what happens.
No, you're right. They would go with Dave Aranda's play.
So then,
I would say that shouldn't happen because he's
my question is Dave Aranda now a play caller?
He would call play, but he's not sitting there to the media and saying, yeah, I'm going to call this play and we're going to have this guy on first down and this on second down. Like, that's not what he's saying. If there's a fourth down, then yeah, the head coach overrides.
Let me give you another element of this, which is why I think they're putting this answer out there.
Okay.
Last offseason, when they hired Derek Nix away from Ole Miss, he was the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin. When they hired him away, there's something in his contract where he couldn't leave for the same job elsewhere. It had to be a step up. He was not the play caller at Ole Miss. And so any chance Hugh Freeze gets, he talks about Derek Nix as a play caller. Is Derek Nix the primary play caller for Auburn's offense? I don't think so. But it has to almost you got to give him that role to some extent, or it's a linear move. So I do think that's part of this as well.
Okay, that is the only one that's really kind of clicked with me. That part right there, because I know offensive
because only one person can be involved in the game plan.
But one person should be calling the plays. Maybe that's just me. I think one person should be calling the plays.
I promise you that when it comes to scouting, Cam, there is somebody on Baylor staff that looks at first down. Somebody that looks at third down. There's probably a third and long guy. There's probably a third and short guy.
Spavital says to Sawyer Robertson, "Here's the play."
So the tweet that went viral highlighted first down strategy / play calling, third down strategy / play calling. I'm diminishing the play calling aspect of this the more I talk to people.
So you're seeing it as three
I talked to all of the quarterbacks on Auburn's roster last year, and there's a chance that it changed. There's a chance. I don't think so, but there's a chance. And it seemed like all the play calling came from Freeze. So take that for what it's worth.
Let me throw this one quick thing then. To my original point of Auburn fans and Auburn people around the team who are confident in the jump that this offense is going to make. How does any of this feel good though? Having to explain through, here's why it's 3 play callers. Here's why it's not actually 3 quarterbacks. Here's why Jackson Arnold actually has confidence. Does that make you guys feel good in the foundation of this offense?
I don't think it matters. I think we'll figure out next Friday.
Well, sure. I
think we'll figure out next Friday. We're at that point. You can point to whatever you want about Jackson Arnold, and everybody outside of Auburn's going to point to the negative, which is fine.
Sure.
Just fine. That's what I would do if I were you too. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it matters. I think what
if
Jackson
I were
Arnold
you two, I wouldn't have put my album on everyone's phone.
What's that?
If I were you two, like you just said, if I were you two, if I were that, I wouldn't have put my album on everyone's phone.
That's weird how bad of a move that was.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was like a cultural moment for everybody to do that.
It was
really I didn't want this.
Yeah, nobody wanted it. It wasn't any good.
And a lot of people had to approve that, you would think. And not one person was like, people may not like this.
Yeah, everyone was like, wow, we're going to get the U2 album for free. That's unbelievable. And quite
it was just
literally
a song. I don't even think it was an album. I think it was just one song.
Boy, is that a miss.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, Cam, you got a Bears major defensive concerns on there. Can't wait to hear what that is. Yep. That's next, right here on this crossover edition of Locked on Auburn and Locked on Baylor. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Rougiette. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them, but if you're looking something beyond just the usual pill, Cam Stuart,
I always want more than the pill.
Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. And unlike the usual pills that could take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast. On average, 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment's right. Cam, just quick thoughts on that very quickly.
Look, got to be Rougiette ready for this game. This game is a very hard one to pick.
It's going to be hard
what I'll say.
to pick.
Yep,
for
very
sure.
hard.
That's
yep.
right.
That's
Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That is RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege and use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off today. It's a crossover edition of Locked on Auburn and Locked on Baylor. Cam Stuart, you've got over there Bears major defensive concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Take us there. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, so Dave Aranda says after scrimmage number 2, and you know how much I love these post-scrimmage talks, Zach. I'm taking it as canon. He's been hyping up that pass rush all fall camp. And he says, look, it's been good. It's getting even better. We love the way our pass rush is. We love our linebackers group. And then he kind of throws it at the end. He's like, yeah, but our coverage hasn't been very good. That could really be better, I think is what he said. Coverage could be better. And I'm sitting here thinking, before I even had all the Auburn fans, thrusting the Kool-Aid at me in the comment section, I knew this team's pretty talented at the receiver position. In fact, if I was going to look at any unit, especially on the offensive side, that I'd be confident, like real confident in for Auburn, it is those receivers, right? Okay. Coleman and Perry and Singleton, like that's legit right there. And as we've talked about, ton of question marks around this Baylor coverage. It was one of those where, hey, you brought in some new blood. You brought in a new coach who's a very good defensive backs coach, Paul Gonzalez, formerly of TCU, Gary Patterson's right-hand man. Okay. So I'm like, okay, they'll get better. Is it week 1 better? Probably not. But then I hear a week and a half before the game, it's like, it's actually not very good. Not good. So to
clarify, you're hearing bad things about the pass defense.
Hearing bad things. Now, this could be maybe this is a remember the Titans situation. They just blitz all night, and Jackson Arnold never has the time.
Which Aranda likes to blitz, correct?
He does. Yeah, he does. He hasn't had the dogs to do it the last couple of years, which is his fault as the head coach.
I mean, Baylor's shortcoming the last few years, it's not scheme, right? Is it X's and O's or Jimmy's and Joe's, I guess?
Well, if we're excluding last year, like the 2 years before it and the first half of last year, it was both. Like, let's be honest. They didn't have a lot of talent in here, talent that got realized last year, and the scheme wasn't great. He fired an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator in that span. He basically demoted another defensive coordinator and made himself the defensive coordinator. So it was a little bit of both for sure. But I would say with what we saw in the back half of last season, there was probably some more talent there than we thought. So probably more X's and O's than Jimmy's and Joe's, but definitely both, Zach.
Okay.
Like, you don't get to 3-9 by having good Jimmy's and Joe's and just bad play calling.
Yeah, or probably the other way. You probably don't get to 3-9 with, having good scheme,
really good scheme and bad players. Yeah.
Right. So, like, what's worst case scenario from the Baylor point of view with this matchup, specifically like passing game versus DBs, Baylor's DBs? Is it, you try to attack them deep? Is it, you throw short stuff and hope they make tackles? Like, what do you like? What's the worst case scenario? Like, what's the biggest concern that Auburn could possibly run up and do on Friday night?
It's deep balls. Okay. That's what Nussmeier did and kind of ate him alive. He got one-on-one coverage on those outside guys. He looked off safeties really well in that game, as a quarterback of his ilk does. And they crushed him down the field. Shedeur Sanders did the same thing. The short stuff wasn't working. This is a good tackling team. I mean, this is game 1, so who knows? But it's a good tackling team, and their linebackers are actually fairly good in coverage. But it's getting those corners on the boundary one-on-one was really tough for Baylor last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's where it's
Got
it.
Got it. Yeah, and
do you have confidence? Like, I know you like Jackson Arnold more than I do, but as we've talked about, I think there's some good things about Jackson Arnold that just might not be realized in week 1.
Yeah,
Is the
Jackson
deep ball
Arnold's
one of those things?
I think we're going to know week 1 if it's going to work or not. Personally, I think we're going to get the answers to the if it's going to work or not fairly quickly. I think there's some of it if Auburn were to win like an ugly game or whatever. Like, can you talk yourself into by Oklahoma a few weeks later when Auburn goes to Norman? That'll be his opportunity to really kind of make a statement against his former team. But I think we're going to have a general idea on if it's going to click or not pretty early. Maybe not week 1, but possibly week 1, and that could be good or bad for Auburn. Obviously, I've said pretty consistently, I think the matchup that favors Auburn the most is the trenches, and you and I've had different conversations about that. But the common pushback I've gotten when I talk about talent for Auburn versus Baylor, and you said this to some extent, and I agree. Baylor's got the better quarterback, which is the most important position. I'm sure I'm not pushing back on that. Mm-hmm. The difference is Jackson Arnold and Sawyer Robertson, unless something crazy happens, will not be on the field at the same time. And so then that would
be nuts, by the way. That'd be really nuts if they were.
Yeah. Who'd be more likely to play defense in that scenario? I don't know. But the
versatile guy, he could bat something down. He could
Jackson's more athletic. I don't know. But almost every matchup I like in favor of. So we just did Auburn receivers versus Baylor DBs. We've done Auburn O-line versus Baylor D-line.
I think people are sleeping on Baylor's trenches a little bit.
Okay, and you brought that up a little bit. You talked about
because I've agreed with you
about the pass rushers. Sure.
Right, I've agreed with you that it's. I think Auburn's is probably better, but I don't think it's like this huge gap. And part of that is because of what you just said. I still am trying to figure out a little bit the Baylor defensive line.
On that side of it, I agree. When you flip the trenches and it's Auburn's D-line versus Baylor's O-line, Keldrick Falk is so good.
He's a good dude.
But top 10 offensive coordinator for Baylor. So what do they do to scheme to block him? And then, the other one-on-one matchups that pop up, Malik Blockton versus, Baylor's interior offensive lineman, Kieran Crawford on the other side, Amaris Williams. There's guys that you don't want to consistently have to block one-on-one. That's what Keldrick's impact is going to be. So we'll see. But what's the specific matchup? And I don't want to talk about position to position, but guys who are going to be on the field at the same time. What's the matchup in your mind that benefits Baylor the most?
Okay, so this you're going to think this is crazy, and Auburn fans are going to be in the comments. They're going to think this is crazy. You will, trust me. Okay. I really think it is Baylor's receivers.
Never mind. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, because Auburn has top 2, maybe top 3 corners unit that Baylor will face maybe all season. Right? I'm not going to shy away from that. But what I have neglected really is Baylor's depth of weapons. And, it's this transfer from Colorado State and he plays in the Big 12 and the Big 12 is Pop Warner. But I think they legitimately have, I don't think they know their top 4 receivers yet because the guys they brought in are that promising. Like Dave Aranda said at camp the other day, the most impressive receiver so far has been Lewis Brown, who comes in from Colorado State. That was the example I was using there. Comes in as a transfer, big target, probably the biggest one that they have size-wise. And so you look at, 1,000-yard receiver basically in Josh Cameron, and your second and third leading receivers coming back and having I don't want to say a unicorn tight end, but a really good athletic tight end that's a 6'4" guy, tough to cover, and a pass-catching back out of the backfield. It's not just that they've got the quarterback, but I think they've got a depth of receiver options, specifically receiver is what we're focusing on here, that I think I underplayed at points in this offseason. Okay. They've got a great mix of the speedy small guys, the boundary guys. It's probably the best mix they've had.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. And once again, I know you're very high on Baylor's OC, top 10.
Some are saying
it. Do you think the competition that Auburn's defensive backs are having every day with Auburn's wide receivers is tougher, or than what they're going to do against Friday? The matchup of Baylor's wide receivers is tougher?
To answer your question, and only answer your question, it's probably tougher to go against Auburn's top 3 receivers in practice. Okay. If I may,
go ahead.
I wouldn't I used to subscribe to this line of thinking, and then I saw Baylor's defensive backs play last year. And like they're going up against good receivers every day. And the Art Briles teams, which were the best offenses in the country, had Bolitnikoff award winners at wide receiver. Those DBs were going against them every day, and they were never a great defense. So I just say take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, okay.
It's different. These guys are different. They might be a touch slower than Cam Coleman, and that might be too much for the Auburn defensive backs to deal with in the first quarter, Zach.
Got it.
Ever think about that?
So they're not as fast as Cam Coleman and Eric
Maybe
Singleton?
Auburn's receivers they're going up against every day are too good. And that Baylor, that it's like you're getting fastballs and all of a sudden you get a really nice changeup.
Yeah. I mean, up until like earlier this week, the reports have been that, Auburn's DBs are just dominating these receivers. And then it sounds
I
offense
always say
is
like
slowly...
good or bad. Good or bad. Is that good or bad to hear?
Yeah, I mean, it's all in context, right? And you're only given so much, through secondhand info. But it does seem like they turned the corner a little bit, and there was a better day for the receivers on Tuesday. Tuesday's open window. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'm rooting ready.
All right, you've got a note over there. Baylor taking an Auburn title. I can't wait to hear about that. That's next, right here on this crossover edition of Locked on Auburn and Locked on Baylor. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Open Phone. Cam, if you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. I mean, think
I don't
about
like
the last
leaving
time
money on
you
the
needed
table.
a service.
Yes.
You call somebody and they don't answer. What are you doing, Cam?
I'm calling somebody else.
Yeah. You're losing
like that's
money.
no question. Yeah.
Yes. Open Phone, the #1 business phone system designed to streamline and scale your customer operations. If you're juggling multiple phone lines, if you got a team, you can all have the same connection there. Open Phone's where it's at. You can see why 60,000 businesses trust Open Phone. They're offering Locked On listeners, that's all of you, 20% off your first 6 months. That's half a year at openphone.com/lockedoncollege. That is openphone.com/lockedoncollege. They'll even port over your existing numbers for free. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to play daily fantasy sports. Can you imagine playing anywhere else?
Absolutely not.
No, I can't.
I would be crazy.
Yeah. It lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. The NFL preseason's already here. Our Patriots are looking great. And college football is not too far behind. I mean, week 0 is this weekend. So whether you've got your eye on big name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks has you covered. You can pick between a lot of different stat projections and just pick higher or lower. And obviously, the more you pick and the more you get right, the more you win. Download the Prize Pick app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code LOCKEDONCollege. You get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. Cam Stuart, is this you want to do trivia first or you want to do the title thing first?
Let's do the title thing, shall we?
Okay.
So I know how you feel about this. I listened to your show. I hate claiming national titles after the fact. I know you do. And I understand your reasoning. I know, but I'm catering to you again, Zach. I shouldn't do that. We're
supposed to not like each other.
I know. And I'm finding it tough. And I know you find it quite easy, but I'm finding it tough.
Okay.
I just don't like claiming national championships after the fact. And I understand that Auburn is far from the only team that has done this. We trolled the crap out of A&M for doing it a couple years ago, Oklahoma State as well. I just think it sucks to do it 100 years later and be like, yeah, we're the national champs. We're going to put that up. I mean, Hugh Freeze, the dude wins 4 or 5 national championships overnight. Like that's an unbelievable track record that he's got. I understand your reasoning for it, but what I want to do, I looked back into the record books because Lord knows there's not many times that Baylor can claim something even close to a national championship. But the one that I found very interesting, Zach, we were all there. We saw it in front of our eyes. The 1910 Baylor Bears, or actually weren't even the Bears yet, should get consideration for national champions. And in fact, I've got something to prove that they should have that title over the newly claimed Auburn Tigers 1910 national title. Okay.
Let's hear it.
So
this is the 1910 season.
Who could forget it? Who could forget it? Auburn 6-1, Baylor 6-1-1. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Baylor's only loss was to the Texas Longhorns. Kind of. The ref was so bad.
Yes.
Big 12 ref. Am I right, fellas? So bad that at halftime, they said, we're not continuing this game This
Oh
is
my goodness.
BS. We're not doing this. It was tied 6-6, and they said, we're not doing this anymore. So that went down as a Baylor forfeit. Their only loss of the season was a fake loss.
That's right.
Okay. And they
Okay.
tied something called Daniel Baker, who apparently there's some write-up. Allegedly, they had a bunch of ringers in there, like Cumberland College did to Georgia Tech and got that thrown in reverse at them. So 6-1-1. Auburn's only loss of that season was 9-0 to the Texas Longhorns.
Oh.
Auburn had a real loss to Texas. Baylor had a fake loss to Texas.
Okay.
Baylor should be the 1910 national champions.
Wow.
Beat TCU 52-0 that year. National champions. I'm claiming that.
I think Baylor should.
It's just as good a
what's
shout.
Everybody else going to do, you know?
I mean, come on. And I'm sorry, dude. I don't know how you help me with this one. How do you claim one when you're on probation?
Oh yeah. No, that's a great question.
Like, that's tough. It was a great season. I looked through it. It was a great season for the Auburn Tigers.
Like they probably deserved it. Yeah, right.
But
Probation.
transitive property national champions in 2016, by the way. Baylor beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State beat Pitt. Pitt beat Clemson. So I'm claiming that one as well. Transitive property.
Yeah, no, I don't have a strong pushback on the probation thing or the 1910 thing. I just don't.
Here we go. All right. Zach has subtracted 2 and given Baylor 1. I'd like that to be noted for the record.
I just think we should all just claim it. Whatever. It's whatever.
Claim it.
No, I think earlier in my career, a mentor told me that I asked him how to balance self-promotion, but also keeping your head down and working hard.
Sure.
And he's like, well, Zach, you got to, nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to self-promote. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And so I don't have an issue with it. And if any other school did it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever.
I mean, the elephant in the room is that they literally couldn't pick a national champion for 100 years, 130 years, whatever it was.
Right.
Harvard claims 30 of them. I don't think we're buying that.
They're really smart.
They are. I think Princeton.
What's the trivia question?
28 or 30. Yeah, you want to get really smart here? How about this? Last time, apparently, Zach, people said our Jarrett Stidham question was a little too easy. A little too easy.
I don't know how so many people knew it. Honestly.
I can't believe that. I thought it was a good one. Yesterday's question was, when Baylor and Auburn played in Waco the only time they did, who was the victor? Scotty B, the Baylor King, was the victor here because he was the only one, or the first one anyway, to point out there was no victor. It was a 10-10 tie 50 years ago on September the 20th. So now the question is this. When was the last time Baylor and Auburn finished in the top 15 in the final preseason poll? Wow. AP poll. And I know this might surprise some Auburn fans, but yes, Baylor has finished top 5. Top 15, top 10.
They've done both top 15 is the question.
Top 15. Yes.
Okay.
This is top 15.
Got it. That's a great trivia question.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
I'm not going to answer. I have a guess. It's probably wrong, but let us know in the comments down below because I don't want to accidentally be right.
First one to get it right in the comments, or if you're an Auburn fan and you're not on my feed, tweet it Locked On Baylor, or just watch on my feed and like and subscribe, and you can just get rid of it.
Like and subscribe both of our feeds. That'd be great.
Hey, you were the one who said you were the one. YouTube. I was skeptical of this. Real quick, I was skeptical of this. You were the one who told me. Speaking of professional mentors, you were the one who said you can get to 5,000 this year. You can get to 4,000 subscribers before football season. Zach, we're 50 subscribers away.
Yeah, you'll hit it. You'll hit it by next Friday. Yeah,
if I just keep talking this mess about Auburn, I think so.
No, I've gotten so many a lot of people don't like you for sure.
That's fine. Yeah,
the Auburn stuff.
I don't.
As I'm sure Baylor people have reached out to you, be like, y'all's Auburn guy is a jerk. I'm sure that's part of it, right?
Yeah, it's the game, man.
But no, seriously, Cam, I've had so many people reach out and say Cam knows his stuff. I understand why he's doing what he's doing and phrasing things the way they are, and y'all are great together and all that. No, I think a lot of Auburn fans think very highly of you.
Check
and if you do, go subscrib to my guy Cam Stewart.
This has been fun. It's hard to believe we only have one.
We only do this one more time.
Maybe 2 left.
You want to go after?
Some people have been begging to go after.
If
Baylor wins, I don't even know if it's worth it to go after. I don't even know if I'll get the bump. But
sure, yeah. Maybe. Let's see what the outcome is.
Let's see what it goes. Oh man, this has been fun, Zach. This has been fun.
I'm a terrible loser. So
same here, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's right. All right. How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Yep. YouTube, Locked On Baylor on X. That's where most of our stuff's going up. That's where I've claimed 10 national championships for the Bears. So 19 combined natties in week 1. You have to get any better. Texas and Ohio State can't do that. And you can find me on Twitter as well. You can see it on, if you're watching on YouTube, at Real Cam Stuart. I'm mostly just talking about the Red Sox at this point, but definitely some good Baylor game day tweets that you guys can rub in my face if it goes wrong.
Yeah, sure. And for the Baylor folks, be sure to check out Locked On Auburn, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. And we will see you next time. This has been a crossover edition of Locked On Auburn and Locked On Baylor, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network.
Your team every day.